2018 Audi A6 Avant review. The good points of Audi A6 Avant: strong and frugal diesel engines, handsome styling, high-quality interior, lots of advanced tech available. The bad points of Audi A6 Avant: boot no larger than before, trails its rivals for interior space. Touch screens try taking some getting used to. High prices and expensive options. Audi loves finding gaps out there and filling all of them with all kinds of new and alternative models. You need to take the Q2, Q8, A5 Sportback and A7 Sportback as examples, but sometimes you can't beat greater traditional body styles for outrideability. The Audi A6 Avant is one kind of these cars, as soon as the most sensible and quite a few practical cars inside German companies' range, and yes, it's back with a lot more tech, more space and much more curb appeal than previously. Its A6 saloon sibling has impressed us, so is the greater practical version a much better buy? And should you see one above the BMW 5 Series Touring, Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate, Volvo V90 or Jaguar XF Sport Brake? Simple Audi A6 Avant engine and trim lineup. In the meantime, at the automobile's launch, 2 diesel engines are around for UK buyers. One is really a 2.0-litre diesel unit, badged 40 TDI, producing 204 horsepower, as the other can be a 3.0-litre V6 diesel with 286 horsepower, badged 50 TDI. All A6 Avants consist of automatic gearboxes, the 40 TDI dual-clutch S-tronic along with the 50 TDI and 8-speed Tiptronic. Quattro all-wheel drive provides standard on the greater powerful model, even though the entry-level diesel has a choice of front-wheel drive or optional quattro. 2 trim levels can be found, Sport and S-Line, and are both well-equipped, having a generous higher-level standard equipment, while you can simply boost the kit count with the car through extensive options list. More engine variants need to join the lineup afterwards, including performance-focused S6 and RS6 models, and also down-to-earth diesels and e-tron plug-in hybrids, and also a 45 TFSI petrol engine to sit down between the 2 launch diesels. Audi A6 Avant, practical boot, but trails its rivals for space. The most significant aspect of an estate car is its boot, as well as the A6's is definitely accessed with an electric tailgate with many clever answers to make loading items a bit easier. However, boot capacity hasn't actually increased with all the new car, so that you get exactly the same 565-litre load area the previous model had. That also means it trails its rivals for outright space. Space for passengers is impressive, though, with generous interior dimensions making life very comfortable indeed for 4 tall adults, with plenty space to stretch. As you'd expect from an Audi, it is just a spacious large estate, having this expected full 5-star crash test rating from Euro NCAP in September 2018. Good to operate a vehicle, but choose your Audi A6 Avant spec wisely. The A6 performs well on road, with composed, mature handling that inspires confidence. It's less exciting to be a BMW 5 Series, nor can it be quite as cost-setting being a Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Nonetheless, it's an excellent all-rounder. It depends about the spec on the car though. Some could possibly be tempted to go for optional air suspension, but this isn't quite as effective as you may think. Instead, the adaptive suspension control system definitely makes the A6 feel a lot more composed and responsive, and expenses less too. Otherwise, the driving experience is great, if a little unexciting. It handles well, rarely losing grip, and does a great job of isolating any noise from outside from the car. Latest deals from Buick are: Audi A6 Avant Black Edition 2.0, £27,250, or £370 monthly. Audi A6 Avant 4.0 TFSI Quattro, £46,450. or £690 every month. See all deals on Audi A6. Representative example, representative APR of 7.9% borrowing £10,509 over 48 months on HP type finance. Just how much payable can be £250 monthly? That has a total cost of credit of £1,483 along with a total amount payable of £11,992. Dennis Bouire Car Limited, 3132 Alfred Place, London, WC1E7DP, GB09151058, is usually a credit broker regulated by FCA, FRN 667368. The verdict. The A6 Avant isn't quite as good an estate car as being the Mercedes-Benz E-Class Estate or BMW 5 Series Touring. That's due to the fact the boot isn't as large and practical since these two rivals, and that's the key reason people buy such type of car. You ought to be careful with the way you spec it as well, because the air-suspended car doesn't ride quite as comfortably when we expected. Go for steel springs but specify adaptive dampers and you'll have an A6 that is nice to drive, having a safe and sturdy feel, very appealing interior and plenty of gadgets. It also makes all the most sense to choose the entry-level diesel. It offers plenty of power and torque for the majority of, and remains economical concurrently. Verdict around the Audi A6 Avant. 2 TDI diesels at launch. Range anticipated to expand on time. All automatic, quattro available. From launch, it's merely a pair of diesel engines powering the A6 Avant, which has a greater variety of engines filling in the lineup eventually. Just Audi A6 Avant TDI diesels in the meantime. Kicking things off will be the 40 TDI, a whole new 2.0-litre turbocharged unit producing 204 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque, paired using a 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch gearbox and a collection of front or quattro all-wheel drive. The 0 to 62 mph sprint takes 8.3 seconds, possesses a top speed of 149 mph. It's an extremely refined engine that feels well suited to your A6. There's enough torque available if you need it, and also the gearbox is smooth shifting most with the time. It's not until you have to have a quick turn of pace that it may get slightly flustered, but overall celebrate for a relaxed and smooth experience. This isn't the kind of car to become thrashing around anyway, in order that it suits the vehicle's more laid-back feel. There's not much noise making its strategies by from the engine bay, either. The more efficient 50 TDI utilizes a 3.0-litre V6 turbodiesel engine producing 286 horsepower and 620 Nm of torque. This engine uses an 8-speed Tiptronic automatic gearbox that doesn't feel quite as quick to respond because the S-tronic from the lesser model. The V6 diesel is incredibly smooth operational, though, even so the gear changes could possibly be slicker, and yes, it doesn't feel as far apart from your 40 TDI perhaps you might expect. It too can be a refined unit though, remaining hushed in any way, speed simply becoming more vocal once you really rev it. If you're thinking about performance figures, the 50 TDI completes the 0 to 62 mph dash in 5.7 seconds, and may reach a 155 mph top speed. There's another 45 TFSI petrol joining kids a little at a later date. Safe and predictable handling. Not especially exciting. Suspension choice creates a big difference. The A6 Avant fits between E-Class and 5 Series within the way it drives. That's to mention it can't match the supremely wafty comfort the Mercedes offers when specified with air suspension, nor could it involve the driver within the same way the BMW can. On regular springs, though adaptive suspension option ticked, the A6 handles itself adequately. The ride is made up, there's a lot of grip in the corner, plus it takes a lot so it will be feel flustered, much more than any prospective owner will subject the automobile to. This could be the optimum setup for your A6. We're yet to utilize a car with standard suspension though. The Sport includes regular comfort suspension, while S-line models are lowered by 10 mm where you can slightly stiffer setup. On higher-end cars, air suspension is usually specified being an optional extra, and also all-wheel steering. The all-wheel steering successful to make the A6 feel additional agile than you'd expect of those a large car, by turning the spine wheels slightly opposite towards the front wheels at lower speeds, requiring less input on the driver and making the A6 feel more nimble about. At higher speeds, the back wheels move within the same direction since the front ones to enhance stability. The air suspension is often a bit of the mixed bag with regards to ride quality, no less than if you specify the A6 with large alloy wheels. It never is able to feel as corsetting and supple just as one E-Class, feeling comfortable enough over some rough surfaces however thudding into larger bumps inside the road. We'd forego this program and choose the adaptive suspension control instead. The great news is this is cheaper, too. Body roll, overall, is well contained, again feeling more composed using the adaptive damping system specified. There's almost no feedback coming from the steering wheel though, leaving enthusiasts a bit detached on the experience, although any potential driving gods will probably be waiting for the S6 or RS6 as opposed to go for one from the diesels. Even in comfort or auto driving modes, chosen with the drive select system, the steering doesn't feel overly light, with nice weighting going without running shoes. Plus, it's an easy task to place the A6 Avant around the road and it could well be unfair to mark it down a lot for insufficient steering feel. That's the sort of thing fancy car buyers seek out. The priority we have found interior space over other things, in the end. Dashboard is modern and high quality. Dominated by touch screens. Easy for getting comfy, but will try taking a little getting used to. The A6 Avant's interior is lifted straight from your A6 saloon, and takes influence through the larger A7 Sportback and A8 models, meaning it's dominated using a dual touch screen setup, plus digital virtual cockpit where fitted, plus a simple design seems and feels very modern. The right off the bat that strikes you is definitely how well built the A6's cabin feels. The materials used throughout feel solid and plush, with leather used around the dash and a good amount of pleasant metals and Alcantara suede depending within the trim level. On sport models, also you can specify wood trim, none in the shiny stuff, on an extra feel of premiumness. If you do follow piano black trim on some surfaces, expect to spend time and effort polishing fingerprints and marks from the jaw horse, together with the same signing up to all those touch screens. It's simple to get comfortable in the driver's seat, with plenty adjustment from the steering column and supportive seats. Although smaller drivers may feel a bit hemmed in, your window line is very high. All on the car's main functions are controlled via Audi's MMI Touch Infotainment System, dominating the dashboard which has a big, bright touch screen, complemented with a second screen lower about the center console seams after ventilation plus some seating controls, and also acting to be a touchpad for handwriting recognition. It uses a little becoming familiar with as you can scroll around the screens which has a gentle touch, while other selections have to have a firm prod in the screen with vibration and clicking feedback. Once you've spent time configuring the screens for preferences and learning where each of the menus are, it's a slick and intuitive setup. More functions may be controlled through the virtual cockpit digital dials, which displays many methods from navigation and media to phone calls as well as the trip computer. This isn't standard, though, with entry-level cars coming using a more traditional analog dial cluster. Visibility is a useful one though, having a large glass area allowing a superb view out with the A6 whatsoever angles. Impressively comfortable cruiser. Depends for the suspension fitted. Refinement is quite good. The A6 Avant has some tough competition in relation to comfort. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate excels of this type, while BMW's 5 Series Touring seems to blend being good they are driving yet very corsetting simultaneously. The nice thing about it is that the A6 Avant is able to provide a comfortable and relaxed ride, but it really doesn't quite beat its two main competitors inside the areas by which they excel. This all hinges within the suspension setup you've got within the A6. We're yet to utilize an A6 with standard springs, instead trying one fitted with adaptive suspension and another with air suspension. There are 4 suspension setups available. Steel springs, standard on Sport. Sports suspension, lowered by 10 mm, standard on S-Line. Suspension with electronically regulated damping control, lowered by 10 mm, an optional extra. Adaptive air suspension, an optional extra. With adaptive suspension plus the drive select system set to comfort, the A6 shakes off bumps inside road well indeed and, along with smaller wheels, it possesses a very relaxed drive. It's not quite as comfy since the E-Class, although the trade-off is greater body control, rendering it a better all-rounder compared to Merc. Specifying air suspension could be tempting on higher-spec models, but don't choose this with larger wheels fitted. They counterbalance the benefits in ride quality, making the A6 Avant nice and floaty in certain situations and crashy and fidgety in other people. We'd save the additional cash and go for that regular suspension with adaptive damper control instead. Whether you decide on the standard cloth seats or optional leather upholstery, the A6's seats are happy and supportive, that has a large range of adjustment available, so most drivers will be able to obtain comfortable. Refinement is very impressive within the A6, with little or no wind or road noise making its way in on a cabin, with all the diesels remaining very hushed indeed in any respect speeds. 2 trim levels available. Both feature lots of equipment. Much more might be added at expense. Just 2 trim levels maintain the A6 Avant's trim lineup: Simple, Sport and S-Line, both of which can be obtained with both engine options. Standard Audi A6 Avant equipment. The range kicks off together with the Sport, coming with 18-inch alloy wheels. LED back and front lights, might be upgraded to matrix LEDs. MMI navigation with MMI Touch, 8.8-inch upper screen and 8.6-inch lower screen. Audi Drive select driving modes. LED ambient interior lighting. Heated front seats in half leather. Audi sound system. Pre-sense front with lane departure warning. Front and rear parking sensors with rear camera. Keyless start. Cruise control. Climate control. Electric tailgate. S-Line builds on this with S-Line front and back bumpers, body skirts, matte black diffuser and front grille. 19-inch alloy wheels. Matrix LED headlight upgrade, might be upgraded to HD matrix LEDs. Electric folding mirrors. Matte brushed aluminium interior trim. Front sports seats finished in Alcantara and leather with electric adjustment. Perforated leather tire with black headlining. Optional Audi A6 Avant extras. A multitude of optional extras might be added on the A6's kit count. Some highlights include comfort and sound pack, Bang & Olufsen premium sound system, extended interior lighting pack, advanced key with hands-free boot opening, 360-degree cameras. Technology pack, MMI navigation plus upgrade with 10.1-inch upper screen, Audi virtual cockpit, Audi phone box with wireless charging, Audi Connect services with natural voice control and live services. Tour pack, adaptive cruise control, predictive efficiency assist, lane departure warning, traffic sign recognition, pre-sense, high beam assist. City assist pack, Audi side assist, blind spot monitoring, pre-sense rear, front cross traffic assist. Most options found within the packs might be specified individually, but celebrate more sense to choose the bundles, and also some on the following. Adaptive air suspension. Standard suspension with damper control. Dynamic all-wheel steering. Panoramic sunroof. 4-zone climate control. Bang & Olufsen 3D advanced sound system. 360-degree parking cameras, head-up display, 5-star crash test score from Euro NCAP, huge level of safety kit available, but a great deal of it is optional. The A6 Avant hasn't specifically been crash tested by Euro NCAP. Even so, the closely related A6 Saloon scored a 5-star rating. Gets Hotter was scrutinized in autumn 2018. As standard, the A6 features pre-sense front, a traffic monitor that alerts the trucker of potential hazards and collisions, with audible warnings and then braking intervention if the trucker doesn't respond. There's also several airbags, front and rear parking sensors with camera, LED headlights, autonomous emergency braking, lane departure warning and cruise control with speed limiter. From your options list, a massive array of extras is usually added, including matrix or HD matrix LED lights, adaptive cruise assist, lane departure warning with emergency assist, traffic sign recognition, Audi Pre-Sense Basic, high beam assist, Audi side assist, blind spot monitoring and lane keeping, pre-sense rear, front cross traffic assist, head-up display, night vision. Many in the options are bundled into packages, namely the Tour Pack and City Assist Pack. Watch, closely related Audi A6 Saloon Euro NCAP crash test. Generous passenger room front and rear. Boot a similar size as before. Convenient shape and good access. The A6 Avant has shrunk in total compared with all the previous generation car, but a extended wheelbase means Audi's been able to eke out more generous interior dimensions for passengers. It's wider and very slightly taller than before, and there's a generous level of space for the people in both the top or rear seats, excluding the gust seat. The large glass area can make it feel light and airy, which produces a big difference since the window line does feel quite high inside the A6. There's a fantastic range of adjustment for anyone sitting inside front seats so that you won't struggle to acquire comfortable, or a tall adult will fit behind a tall front seat occupant without complaints. The A6, overall, can be a tiny bit shorter versus the previous Avant, but is wider and taller than before. Standard fit parking sensors and reversing camera aid maneuverability, as does a good amount of glass to aid see out when parking. However, it could possibly feel quite wide on tight country roads plus town. Nevertheless, it's an easy task to get used to, and it also doesn't feel intimidatingly large to pilot. Go for that comfort and sound pack, and 360-degree cameras are offered, or just as one individual option, that helps squeeze the A6 in tight spaces. At the rear from the car, the A6's boot remains exactly the same size because the outgoing car. That means a seats-up capacity of 565 litres along with a seats-down figure of 8,680 litres. While it's a usable, square shape by incorporating useful latching points inside the rear, it trails its rivals. The Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate comes with a whopping 640 litres of space. As you move, the BMW 5 Series Touring just beats it at 570 litres. The Jaguar XF Sportback is with a par with all the Audi when the trunk seats will be in place. There are a handful of useful touches, though. An electric tailgate provides standard, as the load cover moves upwards and out with the way automatically, too. Interior storage is okay, but nothing mind-blowing. The door bins aren't huge, and there's not really a huge quantity of extra cubby space from the cabin. It trails the E-Class here, too.